Alright, these are the 5 things you need to level up before 2025. We don't have much time left before 2025, but if you really want to get ahead, prevent any bad habits from starting. I keep hearing excuses like, oh, I got school, I got work right now, I want to start December. Oh, I want to be a new me when it's new year. But you could get set up with the right habits, with the right routine now and get ahead of everybody else and prevent you gaining more weight. You could start your fitness journey now and really get started on the core fundamentals you need to, best version of yourself. So, this is what you need. First thing I highly recommend each and every one of you to do is just cut out the vices, cut out the things in your life that are really holding you back. So for me, I was struggled with binge eating. Oh my goodness. Pretty much every single year, especially around this time in the holidays, I would get fat every single year after Thanksgiving, after Christmas. And I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy yourself, but I'm saying if you slip up, you got to lock back in. And for me, the binge eating was terrible. Like staying up late at night, eating and food, eating and eating and eating for the dopamine hit. So that was the first thing I had to cut that out. You can't get a good physique. I'm sorry, you're not going to have a good physique if you're binge eating every single week. You're delaying your progress. You're really just holding yourself back. All that work, you can be perfect throughout your entire week. You can follow the diet, calorie deficit, and then ruin it in one day by binge eating. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not just about eating healthy. It's not just about staying in the calorie deficit for a couple days. It's about staying consistent with it. And then you can have the balance. I'm not saying you can't have cheap food. I'm not saying you can't eat dirty food. I do that all the time. I love my cookies. Are you kidding me? I love my chocolate chip cookies. I love all of that. Rice Krispies, all of that. And then you just lock in. You just hit your calorie goal and you hit your macro goal and you're good. It's calories in, calories out at the end of the day. Just don't binge eat because that will hold you back. And that's personally what held me back for so long. That's how I got to 200 pounds fat. And then drugs, right? I was never that crazy with it. I occasionally vape here and there in the right situation, but I never was that dude who was hitting his vape and shit. I was never really that guy. Like out about, sure, you might dabble with it, but honestly, you really don't need it. Like, you need that shit. Like, it suppresses your appetite, gives you a nice little energy boost potentially. But what's the point? What's the point? Is it actually helping you reach your goals? No, it's not. And I used to come up with a lot of these excuses saying, I need alcohol to get loose. I need to feel good. Need a, can approach so I can feel more confident. But I'm not really learning any skills from doing that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll still drink alcohol. I'm not perfect. I'm not like this dude who's cut everything out cold turkey. I still will do it in a social setting. In the future, I'll go completely sober. But for right now, here and there is not like the worst thing ever. Now, ideally, in the most optimal situation, yeah, it would be best to cut it out. It does ruin your sleep. It does ruin, also, of course it does. So, as much as possible, I really don't do it unless it's a special occasion. And another one, bro. A lot of you dudes, there's that guy as well, jerking, like nonstop. A lot of you dudes can literally not stop. You see something on social media, you see a chick with a fat ass, and then, honestly, here's the cycle. You eat junk food, and then you watch Netflix, and then before you go to bed, you check out Pornhub, and then after that you play video games for another hour, and then up till 2 a.m. and then there you go. Then you're sleeping, and then you wake up the next day sleep deprived, and it's an endless cycle, right? So when you just cut out all of them, you're locked in. Like, you reach a higher performance. That's what I'm trying to say. It's easier to do harder work when you don't have any of these distractions, when you don't have things zapping your energy levels, putting you in a negative state. Like, you're not going to be in a good state if you're out here spending hours on the hub, right? No, of course not, bro. And it all starts with just going to bed earlier, because a lot of these vices, they happen late at night. So really, honestly, like that, I was able to cut out the binge eating. I just started going to bed earlier. Because when I was up late, I was watching Netflix, I was thinking about food. And then instead you just go to bed earlier and so you don't eat. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. So you reach a higher level performance, and I'm not saying you gotta be a fucking PC out here, but you should be limiting the stuff if you want to reach your best self, if you want to reach the next level. And then you focus on one thing, because a lot of people want to switch diets. They want to do carnivore, they want to do keto. They do you try something for a little bit and you don't see any results, and then you switch it up, but you just didn't stick with it long enough, or you didn't actually properly execute on it. But the thing is, it's not about that. It's about what are you gonna be able to stick to long term. Are you gonna stick to carnivore long term? If you can, if that's truly what you enjoy, then go for it. If you're truly gonna stick with keto long term, if that's what you enjoy the most, then stick with it. But personally, I found that if you want to have the most enjoyable diet for your training, for your discipline, overall great lifestyle, then you don't need to cut out carbs. You really don't. And you'll actually have better workouts if you're eating carbs. Crazy, right? You're going to have a better pump in the gym. You're going to have energy. You're going to be able to replenish your glycogen stores after the gym when you eat, after, right? And so you don't have to do that unless you don't, like, of course it works for you, and that does work for some people. I'm not saying certain diet is wrong. They all have one thing in similar, they all have one thing in common. You know what that is? That is a calorie deficit. So they all work as long as you're in a calorie deficit. That's what you need to lose body fat. So find what works for you. Personally, I say calories in, calories out. Eat clean 90% of the time. Have a little bit of dirty food here and there. Hit your protein goal, hit your macros, and you're good, bro. Don't overcomplicate it. Stick with one training plan. Don't switch up your exercises. Too many dudes, they try out the bicep curl with spider curl, and they're like, oh, they're liking the spider curls, but should switch it out for a single arm preacher curl. Oh, you know what? Preacher curls, let me do a one arm hammer curl. Like, bro, you're not gonna make progress if you keep swapping. You gotta progress on one movement. Get really strong on that movement. Ideally perform it with correct form, of course, slowing down the time under tension, getting a great eccentric. Like, that's what you got to be doing. You can't be flip-flopping from exercise to exercise. If you want to grow, like grow your arms, grow any type of muscle, you got to perfect the movement, and you got to find a movement that works properly, like hack squat. Great for your quads. But I went through a phase where I experimented with best exercise, and I found what works, and then I stuck with it, and I got strong on that movement, and then my quads started to grow. And then ideally you just put all of it, all your intensity into it. I see too many people, these crazy high volume workouts, 4 sets, 5 sets. Nah, man, you don't need that. You just need 2 to 3 sets till failure. You got to be pushing yourself to a failure, and you got to be applying a progressive overload, getting stronger each workout and improving, right? Not just staying in the same position. So build your habits now, right? Get ahead of these New Year's resolutioners. They're going to be starting right when they're fat. They're going to notice the scale, and then they're going to start. But you could jump ahead of these people. You really could. And you could prevent it from happening for one. You could ideally set up these routines so you're not gaining 20, 30 pounds, gaining excess body fat. Right, with these routines, with the right training plan and nutrition plan, allowing yourself to have balance, to enjoy yourself with your family over the holidays and your friends, and then lock back in immediately. Set up these goals and plan out your day, man. Honestly, I get really off track when I don't have, I don't know what I'm doing. And so one little trick, I went into my phone, I went into the alarm app, and I just set up alarms. Like, okay, at time, I need to be going to the gym here. At this time, I need to be doing work. I need to be eating my breakfast at this time. Just it eliminates decision fatigue. Like, I don't want to think about what I need to do. I just want to get up and do it. And when you have these days that they're extremely productive, you just jump ahead in terms of the progress. Like, it's crazy when you actually implement all this stuff and you stay consistent with it daily. You become a whole different dude, man. That's how you really make a transformation. And then you hit your bedtime, because like I said, all the bad habits, right? the jerky, edging, horn, yeah, all that, eating junk food, all of these bad habits, they happen late at night. So you want to set up the bedtime earlier so you don't stay up doing dumb shit. And then you wake up earlier so you stay up, so you get up and you're doing productive shit. That's the cheat code right there, man. Your wake up time starts with your bedtime. And it's not going to be perfect every day. You're going to be out late, you're going to be, not, having trouble sleeping some nights, but as long as you stick with your daily tasks, the most important thing. And then you plan out your meals. I like to meal prep. A lot of people don't know what to eat, and then they go out and they end up getting fast food. I all plan ahead, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my money on junk food that's not going to help me reach my goals. Why should I? Why just eat it, really? Like, yeah, I still have a junk food, but honestly, it's cheaper too. It's cheaper to just meal prep, cook the food from yourself. You could make your own homemade Chipotle, and that's going to be a lot cheaper than actually buying Chipotle. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. So I prefer to cook and meal prep ahead, and that way I already have the proteins made. I just go into the fridge and I get the protein out. I throw in some rice and we're good. Like, you can really make these meals quick and fast, extremely healthy and extremely tasty. You can make homemade Chipotle instead of going out to Chipotle, wasting time driving there, and you're saving hours, man, hours out of your day. Because that's really what it comes down to. There's a lot of time in your day that's getting wasted, and we want to eliminate that as much as possible. Once you get the habits, though, now you need to stay consistent with it, right? And so when you slip up, because it will happen, of course, not every day's perfect, you will slip up, but the key is to lock back in. Ideally is the next day. Like, hop back on immediately. I'm saying if you go out and you eat, you drink, and you eat maybe a little bit too much, next day, you don't have to punish yourself, but you do just want to stick to the plan. You do want to just go back to your normal routine instead of messing up your sleep schedule, messing up your diet even more, binge eating twice. That's what I used to do. I used to say, oh man, I'm already fucked up, I'm already fat, let me just eat again, and then you're really off track. So if you mess up, skip 2 days in a row. That's what I will say. And then you plan ahead. You get, if you go out and then eat at a restaurant, and you eat a lot of food, a lot of good tasty food, high calories, then save your calories early in the day. And protein fast. And so what I mean by this is, really, you don't need a lot of carbs. If you're gonna go out and eat at dinner time, right, at a nice restaurant where there's gonna be tons of calories, then plan ahead, man. Plan ahead. So ideally stick with just protein. Hit your protein. Front load the protein. Hit your protein goal. And a little bit of fruit for some carbs. You don't need a lot of bread or oats or rice or anything else. If you know your carbs later in the day, save up your carbs. There you go. That's the key. And same thing with drinking. Like, if you're going to go out and drink alcohol, I just limit the carbs. You limit the food. Hit your protein, because the protein's important for muscle protein synthesis. But then you're going to get fucked up faster. You're going to get drunk faster, not having a crazy meal. And that's the way to do it, man. You don't want to over drink. You want to limit yourself as much as possible while hitting your goals. And on top of that, I stay active, right? We get the steps. We do the morning cardio, ideally, or cardio after the gym. I try and fit in 30 minutes of low intensity cardio on the treadmill. Doesn't have to be on the treadmill. It could be boxing. I like to do that as well. I could be walking just outside. But ideally, you have some sort of cardio routine, because that does actually help you burn some fats, burn some calories. And it's just good for you, right? We know cardio is good for you. I don't have to tell you that again. You've heard it a million times. It's good for your health, and it makes you an active beast, right? But the truth is, just going to the gym isn't really good enough. Just showing up, just, doing the hours, it's not good enough, man. What do you do in those hours? Because a lot of people are training for years. They've been training 5 years in the gym. Their physique doesn't change at all. And they're like, why is my physique, why am I not getting results? Why am I not making progress? Okay, so what are you actually doing in the gym? What are you doing outside of the gym? What are you doing with your diet? Like, you be training, sure, you train 6 days a week, but are you actually doing everything, ability to be the best in those sessions? Because, you be honest with yourself. And man, I was there. I was there. I was fat, and I wanted the honesty. I was happy to hear. I mean, I want to hear it. I didn't want to hear, yo, Bryn, you're a little fluffy right now. You're looking a little chunky. But that's what I needed to hear, because a lot of dudes, you'll tell yourself, oh, I'm not fat. I'm perfect the way I am. I'm not fat. No, 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 no. That wasn't fat. I'll show people my transformation, and some people will say, oh, you looked good. You were okay. Well, you weren't fat there. You weren't fat. Bro, I was 200 pounds. I had chubby cheeks. I had love handles. Maybe I wasn't super fat, but I definitely wasn't in great shape. And a lot of people just cope. They're like, oh, it's okay. You're right. You're okay. You were okay with that. What the fuck? That's not. I'm not okay with being just okay. I'm not okay with just being average. That's the thing. If you want, you got to do crazy things. And that's what I did. I did a bodybuilding show. I lost the weight. I lost 30 pounds. I didn't tell myself, oh, I'm not fat. I'm not fat. No, I wanted to look good as fuck. I wanted to show up on stage being 10% body fat, being lean. And I had to be honest with myself, and I had to do what it takes to get there. And what it takes is really putting your full effort into it, full intensity, right? You don't need a whole bunch of sets. Don't just go through the movement. Actually train to failure. Actually push yourself with partial reps at the end, right? So you're just finishing the workout until there's nothing left, ideally. Set. Don't just, yourself early when it gets hard. You got to push it. You got to be progressively overloading. You got to get stronger. I want to hear you hitting PRs. With my clients, I ask them, like, what PRs are you hitting? What are you aiming for? What are you hitting now? Right? Because that's what's actually going to get you the muscle when you're hitting PRs, when you're improving your strength with the proper form. And then you track the progress. Because a lot of people, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. A lot of you dudes just, you don't know. You don't know what workouts you're hitting. You don't know how strong you are. You don't know how many calories you're eating. And, you reach a certain level, you can be more loose with the tracking. But when you're just starting out, you gotta track. You gotta see what you're doing wrong. Because oftentimes you just don't know what you're doing wrong. But when you track, you actually figure it out. You actually see, like, oh man, I'm actually eating way too many calories in this meal. But now that I've been tracking in my fitness pal, I see, okay, I'm gonna limit the sauce on my pasta, because I put a little bit too much sauce here, right? That type of thing where if you track, you see it. If you're not tracking, you can't see what you're missing. But then once you figure it out, man, like, I don't really track calories like that. I really don't. I have similar meals every day. I plan ahead. I know what I'm eating. I know my protein. But I'm not like weighing a single little thing out. I do it to measure it, and then I'm good. I set up the foundation. I set up the meals. I know what I need to eat. And then I don't have to track every day, because I'm just repeating it. And I can intuitively eat. I can estimate. But you have to track first to be able to know that. And then once you do this, man, you got to be proud of yourself, because a lot of guys, they have this negative self-talk. I've been there. I'm still there. Poor me, this victim mindset. Oh, I could be better. Blah, blah, blah. Bro, if you show up in the workout and you try your best, be proud of yourself, bro. Let's fucking go. Right? Get hyped. Because you just did something tough. You just should be proud of yourself for just showing up. You're not, and that's the thing. You're not going to get results immediately. Like, obviously, if you do one ab workout, you're not going to have a six-pack. But you should be proud of yourself for doing the workout, right? Don't worry about the results yet. Just be proud of yourself for showing up and doing that hard workout. And in these months, foundation. Build it up with the compound movements, with the bench press, the squat, Romanian deadlifts. Deadlifts, if you like those. I prefer Romanian deadlifts. But the compound movements, because that's what's going to really build your physique. It's not a single arm, reverse cable fly, rear delt row. No, it's ideally these compound movements, the row, the bench press. Like, the movements that you can really progress on, that you can add 40 pounds on. Like, if you add 40 pounds to your bench press, bro, that is going to completely change your physique. You're going to have a way bigger chest. You're going to have way bigger arms. And a lot of optimal people will be like, oh, that's not optimal. You have to balance the bench press. Well, here's the thing. If you aren't great at the bench press, find a different exercise. That's why I went over this earlier in the earlier step. And I was saying, you got to find an exercise that works for you, that you see progress on. Maybe you need more upper chest, so then start with an incline bench, right? But once you find what works, you know, you put the foundation, you add 40 pounds to your lifts, and bro, you are literally ahead of the game. And that's how you do it, right? But we're setting all of this stuff up now. We're not delaying it, because you don't need to make any more excuses, do you? I don't have time. If you have 3 hours, 3 hours out of your week, that's enough time. 3 hours out of your week to show up to the gym. Sunday, you cook, you meal prep, and you save time in other areas, and you're good, man. You can still go to work, you can still do your job, go to school, and hit your fitness goals. Because the truth is, do you want to build muscle and then lose it? Do you want to lose your muscle? Do you want to, get shape, get a six pack, and then lose it? Or do you want to be able to maintain your muscle and your six pack year round? Right? You want to be lean, feel good about yourself, about how you look in the mirror year round. Because if you want to learn how to do that year round, then you have to do it when you're busy. You can't just say, oh, I'm too busy to work out. That's not good enough. Otherwise, you're going to lose the muscle and you're going to fall off track and you're never going to be able to maintain it. So you have to do all of this stuff, even in busy moments of your life. Being busy isn't good enough. It's not an excuse. And you can have it all. That's the truth. If you want to reach the top level, the best version of yourself, and you want the extra accountability, the extra guidance, so you want to lose 20, 30 pounds, pack on muscle in 90 days or less, apply for coaching, the first link in my bio, and I got you, boys. I appreciate every single one of you sticking to the end of this video, showing up, subscribing, and liking. Let's fucking go. Take action. Peace, chap.